Well, former National Party leader Don Brash has sparked controversy again after criticising his former party for giving special favours to Māori and failing to address economic issues. The speech has been compared to his 2004 State of the Nation address. So does it signal a significant divide among national supporters? We'll hear with his views as political commentator Bryce Edwards. Bryce, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pippa.
Were you surprised at just how critical this speech was?
Yes, it was quite extraordinary. We're not really used to seeing former party leaders coming in and really attacking their own government and attacking their own Prime Minister. It was really questioning John Key's leadership, saying that this government has gone too soft, gone too centrist, and that National needs to return to being more of a true blue National Party.
And this is not reading between the lines. It was not subtle, I guess is fair to say.
Not very subtle, no, at all. He really was laying in the boot to his own party, which is quite extraordinary because this is normally what we see from an opposition politician. But really, I think it reflects some of the frustration that's within the National Party at the moment. So Don Brash is really picking up on that, and what he says, I'm sure, will resonate.
And why, though? Why Don Brash? Why does he make this decision now to make these comments?
Well, I'm sure he's motivated by very genuine beliefs and frustrations, but it's probably got a bit to do with the fact that he's the chair of the Task Force 2025 committee, which is supposed to be putting forward some ideas about how New Zealand catches up with Australia in terms of economics. And those reports keep getting dismissed by this government, by John Key, which must be very frustrating. Basically, John Key's saying that that Don Brash is out of perspective, that his ideas are marginal, and that must be quite embarrassing for Don Brash.
And I guess for a lot of people who are looking at it from the outside, to pick up on some of these ideas would be very risky, politically would be very risky. Some of the ideas from the 2025 Task Force are radical.
That they are quite radical, and also they're quite they're a return to the 1990s essentially. They're full-on neoliberal right-wing policies, more inclined, well, the sort of thing that the ACT Party might be more keen on. So there's no public appetite for that sort of continuation of the neoliberal revolution. So John Key is actually being very smart in dismissing them. He's following the public mood very, very nicely. I mean, people, especially after the financial crisis, they don't really trust the Rogernomics policies anymore.
So should John Key care? And who I guess is listening to Don Brash? Who cares what Don Brash has to say now?
I think a lot of people inside the National Party, at least, will be very open to what Don Brash is saying. It will resonate with them. So he's trying to be some sort of critic and conscience of the National Party, maybe a lightning rod for all the dissatisfaction, all those people that are feeling alienated, that this party and government is being a bit too Labour light. But also a lot of voters that just aren't very inspired by a government that they might see as not really doing much, that's too centrist, too much trying to please.
Focusing on the polls, which is something that Don Brash mentioned in the speech, do you think we're going to see a little bit of division then coming from the National Party with those who want to move further to the right versus John Key and his mates, I guess, who are happy to stay, as you term it, Labour light?
Yes, well, those divisions have always been there, and in any party, right from the Greens through to ACT, there's always the split between those that want to just get into power and and hold power, and therefore have to be a bit more moderate and have to water down their principles, and those that really want to be more radical. So Don Brash is really speaking up for those that want to really do something in government, and those divisions have been there. He's just making them more explicit, and he's not papering over the cracks. And so, yes, I think this could herald a split in the party, not in a sense of an official split that the party, people will leave the party necessarily and start a new one, although that's possible. It's more about trying to galvanise that internal opposition and put some pressure on John Key and the National Party to move a bit more to the right.
If there is that demand for that, shouldn't we then see an increasing support for ACT, which we're not really seeing?
ACT's got all its own little problems and is so discredited by all the dramas, the soap operas going on. But yes, I think you're right in the sense that there's just no appetite for this government moving to the right. Those policies have seemed to have failed in the past, I think.
Bryce, look, thanks very much for joining us this morning. Certainly an interesting speech. Political commentator Bryce Edwards there.